CES is the most influential tech show in the world. On display in the exhibits is an overwhelming amount of technology, whether it's currently on the market, in development, or maybe even just a concept. This year's tagline for the show is "Be in it," and so it doesn't come as a surprise to see a lot of tech in augmented or virtual reality. What does that mean for attendees? Well, we saw a lot of people, usually standing alone, making a lot of mime-like actions. So now we've got to ask, how are changes and trends within technology affecting the connections we have? And do any of these companies still value real-life human connections?
It's a real issue as the metaverse develops and as everything gets more virtual and spatial, and you have more options for interaction between people that take you out of the real world and put you into these virtual environments. There is a risk that we get separated from one another, and haptx believes that by making the virtual environments more tactile, more physical, you can re-establish a sense of connection with people. Here at CES, we've been doing something very simple where we take two different people in different locations and we bring them into the same environment to play a game of Jenga. What they've done is they've not only played the game together, but they end up feeling each other. They end up shaking hands, they end up high-fiving, they end up thumb wrestling. And I think that really tells you how, even in the virtual world, it's all about human connection, and touch really adds to that.
Which is why haptx focused on developing their products with the most realistic touch feedback available. It meant a more expensive end product that only the enterprise space could afford at first, but with real-life benefits for many.
If you're doing training in virtual reality, you're training a doctor, you're training an airline pilot, anyone who needs to use their hands in their job, virtual reality is a great way to train them, but it's missing realistic touch feedback. You feel like a ghost, your hands pass through objects in VR. With haptx gloves, you can feel the objects that you're learning about, and you can learn skills manually that are lasting. You can design products like automobiles and other large-scale products in VR, and now you can try them, touch them, interact with them while you're designing them. And the last thing is robotics. It's a completely fascinating new world where robot hands are very humanoid, 5 digits, but there's no way for a human to really control these robot hands without haptx gloves, where you can feel what the robot is feeling in real time and control them with amazing precision, so your hands can be anywhere in the world.
So imagine a loved one needing a type of surgery that no one has done before. Wouldn't you want the surgeon to have the opportunity to practice in a way that will feel just like the live surgery? That's important to remember when considering the connections you choose to make with others and technology in your life. Virtual environments and haptic or touch technology can be useful.
There are a lot of therapeutic and clinical applications for touch feedback. Everything from helping people cure phobias or PTSD. We're just beginning to work with universities and understand how, touch can play a role in virtual rehabilitation, helping people feel reconnected again by bringing them back to tactile sensation if they feel overstimulated by the normal world.
Interesting, right? We hear so much about technology taking us away from the real world and real human connections. It's actually surprising to discover that it can also be used to help others connect back to living in the real world. And even more surprising, we found an organization at CES whose core purpose is to help veterans acclimate back into society.
The mission is very simple. It's to end veteran suicide. So roughly 20 veterans a day commit suicide, unfortunately. And so our goal is hopefully, with the use of service dogs, which is what CHIPS will soon one day be, we can pair them with military veterans suffering from PTSD, TBIs, and a military sexual trauma.
Canines for Warriors trains service dogs to give to veterans, but it costs about $25,000 to train, house, and care for each service dog. The success of the organization has been made possible by donations and partnerships. At CES, RCA, the renowned electronics company founded more than a century ago, not only launched new e-bikes and e-scooters geared towards today's modern family lifestyles, but also announced its partnership with Canines for Warriors. RCA sponsored CHIPS, a service dog in training whose journey can be followed on social media. RCA will also donate electronics to the war hero CHIPS will go to.
So RCA has a long-standing love of dogs. Their brand is over a century old, and they've always had Nipper and Chipper, which are their original dogs, a part of their brand. They decided to sponsor CHIPS, which is a service dog in training. So Nipper and Chipper's little brother, Chips, they've been incredible. And if you look at their iconic commercial, it is a dog looking at a TV. And you might think, okay, that's disconnected. But dogs have such a way of connecting with their owners. They're a part of our family. And so many times your dog is up on your couch with you watching a family movie. And so that family time is so special, and RCA is creating those moments. We are able to do what we do because of partners like RCA, and so we are so grateful. We are a nonprofit, so it is all from donations, so we are very grateful.
And for dog lovers and veteran family members like me, your next question might be, do connections or partnerships like this even make a difference in the overall scheme of things? On an individual basis, it might not seem like much, but put them all together and you get something really special.
One of the coolest things is we call it Dog Day, and it is when these veterans have been on a wait list. They have to go through a lengthy application process, and it is the most special, unbelievable moment that we have at Canines for Warriors. It's when the veteran who's been waiting, who has been plagued from their PTSD, isolation, not wanting to go out in public, hypervigilance, and they haven't really lived their life. And so they come and they meet this dog, they don't know how it's gonna go, but they're hoping it will be an answer or something that will help them live life again. And they meet this service dog that they've been waiting years for. And you see grown men who are stiff and military, and they just go to their knees and they start crying because it's for the first time that they have hope. They have hope for a future and a hope that they can start living again, and that's what these dogs provide, and it is incredible to see.
It truly is incredible to see companies giving back to the communities they serve. But RCA wasn't the only company giving back to their community. John Deere advocated for their community and customers who might have one of the deepest connections to tradition and land in the United States, the farmers.
Our customers have a tremendous sense of connection to the equipment that helps their livelihood. Farming is not just their occupation, it's their lifestyle, it's what they grew up doing, it's what their family grew up doing. And to be able to be an advocate for agriculture is a tremendous opportunity. We hosted farmers in the booth today, a third-generation farmer from Arkansas who's continuing on the tradition of his grandfather and his father. Not a lot of people here think about where their food comes from. Maybe they think it's from the grocery store or a delivery service. Every time you're at a dinner table, you're interacting with the food that our farmers grew.
And it's not just food. American farmers grow crops that end up in everyday products like perfume, toothpaste, clothing, and fuel. To bring awareness to the importance of supporting our farmers, John Deere representatives handed out Rice Krispie treats to attendees on their way into the convention center. After eating your treat, you could bring the wrapper to the booth to receive a John Deere cap, at which point you'd discover that you were actually helping in two ways.
So by giving this, you are supporting our rice farmers. The rice in this was produced by our rice farmer who was here in the booth yesterday. We'll give you a hat, and then we've also donated 100 meals to the Food Bank of Las Vegas. So thank you so much.
That's just a foundation of what John Deere is built upon, is giving back. Our farmers are always giving back to the communities around them, and as an extension of them, we're always trying to give back and help support food security throughout the world.
It's amazing to see how companies value giving back and are still keeping human connection at the center of their purpose. CES is a show that brings people together from all over the world to showcase every kind of technology you could find. And despite technology advancing in ways that could separate us, it's clear that being in it can still mean being together. Thank you so much for watching. To see all of the cool things we found at CES, make sure to watch our YouTube shorts. You can stay connected with us online at eaglenewslive.com and through our social media portals. Like and share if you can, subscribe now, and I'll see you back here real soon.